Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 7 of Religions of the World 35. We have a very rainy night outside tonight, but that's okay. It'll make everything bloom and it'll be great. So I hope you enjoyed the sun this weekend. Just kind of a brief update of what we're doing this week. And I hope you've been enjoying Hinduism. I'm really disappointed because usually we get to do we do some really cool projects with this in class, and like we do a game and stuff like that, which we just can't do anymore. So I hope you guys enjoyed the alms that you did last week. I'm really looking forward to reading some more of them. And I know they're still coming in, and that's okay. So, but yeah, tomorrow's May the 4th, or I guess today if you're watching it today. But so happy Star Wars Day. And I really have zero school information for you. I already told my social studies classes this, so I apologize if you're in both. But I don't have anything. As soon as we know, you will know. And the only thing is I had a few people ask questions about returning of textbooks, and we don't know how that's going to look, but that's a future AOB problem. So today's update, so we're going to go over Hindu gods and goddesses. So I'll go over a few things with you guys. And this week for alms, I'd like you to say a rosary this week for someone special. If you don't know how to say the rosary, I leave the link here. Or write a letter of affirmation to someone that you care about this week. And so that I think would be a really cool thing for you to do. And then the assignment is choose your own deity, Google assignment. So basically you're going to choose your own Hindu god or goddess, and you're going to do some research on them and kind of do some comparisons on them. Okay. So we'll go through the PowerPoint. So Hinduism part 2. So we finished off kind of talking about the idea of karma, which is what your assignment was on last week. So karma and dharma are interconnected. So dharma is basically like your specific social order or your ethical duty. So everybody has a specific thing to do in life, whether that's being married or having children or working or being in the government, things like that. And so your dharma is determined by your gender, by your caste, and by the stage of life that you're in. So the caste system, and this is where we normally would play a game, and it was pretty cool. So you have 4 distinct classes or castes. So Brahmin are at the very top, and they are priests. The Kshatriya are warriors or kings, leaders, things like that. The Vaishya are the farmers, merchants, artisans. And then the Shudra are the commoners, peasants, servants. And then below that, not even a part of the actual caste system, are the untouchables. And the untouchables are like out of society. And like literally no one touches them or they'd be made unclean. So it's a really horrible thing because it just really kind of takes human beings out of society, which is not a good thing. So it's based on hereditary. So you're born into a caste and you you really can't get out of it. And so, if you're born into a lower caste, like you're kind of stuck. And so it's not great. So the problem is that because of reincarnation, the belief is like, if you were born into a lower caste, like you deserve that. Like that was your fault. And so they kind of have the same thing with Brahmins, and they also feel like those priests, like they deserve that higher caste. They must have been really awesome in their previous life. So your dharma changes with that. So the duties of like a priest or a Brahmin are very different from like a warrior. And so keep that in mind. And there's also 4 stages of life: student, householder, forest dweller, aesthetic, or ascetic. So now, again, dependent on your gender, you might not actually achieve all of these stages kind of thing. So the wife accompanies the husband in like the householder portion. And then in the forest dweller, the wife can accompany the husband and they like retreat from worldly bonds. And the whole idea was that they'd like legitimately go into a forest and like hide out. But then you can return to society. But because you're older, you're like detached from the world and things like that. But you also have specific duties that you do as a part of each of those stages. Okay. Now we're going to get into the triad of deities, okay? So Hinduism is a polytheistic religion, which I mentioned last week. So that means there's many, many different gods. Judaism, Christianity, Islam all have one, where is my camera? One God, okay? And so, and really it's all the God of Abraham. It's just we we worship in different ways, okay? And obviously like Catholics or Christians believe that Jesus is the son of God, whereas like Muslims believe that he's a prophet kind of thing. And so, but for Hindus, it's completely different. There's three main gods, but then there's like hundreds of million of other diversifications of gods, like hundreds of millions. So the three main ones are Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. There's other lots of popular deities, Kali, Krishna, Rama, and then you can read them in your textbook on page 246 and 247, and you'll want that for the assignment this week. But we're just going to go over the three kind of biggest ones. So Brahma is shown as like the creator. Usually has four faces because it's like the four directions. So you see here on this image, there's four faces. Usually dressed in white, usually has a peacock or a swan. So here's, okay. And generally considered above worship. So there's usually not any temples devoted to Brahma because he's like the highest. Okay. Vishnu is the preserver, often dressed in yellow. Okay. Usually has blue skin, usually has like a half man, half bird kind of creature with him. Now, Hindus believe that Vishnu actually comes down to earth to help save the world, and will often come down in like human form. And so it has different avatars, which is like kind of like incarnations of him. And one of them is actually the Buddha, which is obviously in Buddhism, which we'll get into next week. And so that's kind of interesting that like it has like a specific like avatar type thing of Vishnu. Okay. And then we have Shiva, the destroyer, and redeemer, which is really weird. That is both a destroyer and a redeemer. So dangerous and destructive, but also kind of joyful and creative. Usually has a tiger skin loincloth. And I'm not going to lie, the only thing I could think of when I was writing this PowerPoint was Tiger King. When I realized that he has a tiger skin loincloth, which I knew, and then the snake collar, and it's just Joe Exotic came into my head, and that's all I could think about. This should say skulls, not skills. I apologize. And also usually has blue skin. So Shiva helps the humans out, brings them fire, kind of like the trickster type thing. Okay. So those are like the three main gods. There's lots of other ones, and I want you to do some of your own research into a specific god for the assignment this week. The daily devotion, like they have shrines, they have fires and ritual bathing, things like that. So they have types of devotion. Now, this is one of the oldest religions in the world, and there's no set leader. So there's a lot of leeway on like how you worship. There's holy places. So this can be a temple or a site. But the most sacred holy place for Hindus is the Ganges River, which is said to come from Vishnu's feet onto Shiva's head and out from his hair. And the river is supposed to cleanse all sins, and you're supposed to pour the ashes of the dead, which are then swallowed up and then brought back into like that essence of or spark, which is great, but it's like the dirtiest river in the world, or one of them. So it's really unfortunate because it's supposed to be this very sacred place. And unfortunately, because of pollution and a number of other things, it is a very, very dirty river. So if you've ever seen Slumdog Millionaire, they kind of go over some of that type stuff, but yeah. Some other aspects of daily devotion, Hindus venerate cows, actually, which is kind of funny because I had a burger today. But it's a very central part of Hinduism. Maybe not funny, that's the wrong word, but it's just, it's not typically something that we see within a lot of Western society and Western religions, because typically animals are sacrificed in a lot of those other religions. Like Christianity used to have like sacrifices and things like that, and Judaism did and stuff like that. And so it's a very different concept to venerate, not worship, but venerate a cow. And so but the reason for it is because a cow is life. And the cow provides for Hindus in a multitude of ways. It provides, milk, and like it's like a fertilizer, and like helps grow the fields and things like that. And it also suffers with the Hindus. When there's a drought, a cow suffers. And so the killing of a cow is actually a capital offense at times in the past. Not so much anymore, but there are actually people that go around in India and make sure that cows are treated properly. And they're kind of like a cow police. And so like cows are like dressed up, and they're like they're meant to be like this like wonderful part of Hindu society. Marriage. Okay, we'll just briefly go over this. there's more arranged marriages in Hinduism than there are in almost any other culture or religion. Most marriages in India are arranged, and often a lot of them end up being happy marriages because basically the parents and a matchmaker work together to find like the best mate for their children. And they consider the feelings of the man and the woman and things like that. And so this is a Hindu wedding, and I've been to one actually. It was a number of years ago, but it was beautiful. It was like a 3-day thing, though. Lots of food, so much food. It was so good. There's food during the ceremony because it was so long, and they're like, "Oh, just go downstairs," and there's a bunch of food, and I was like, "Pardon?" There was like a whole buffet. And as for religious leaders, like I said, there's no like specific religious leader. But Gandhi, who was called Mahatma, which means like great soul, he is considered to be one of like the leaders for Hinduism. He was assassinated just months after India was granted independence from Great Britain. So there's some information on there on the pages 254 to 255. But that's really kind of it for religious leaders. Because they don't have like a set, like they don't have the Pope like we do, or like there's like patriarchs and stuff like that. Okay. And this is Gandhi, and this is where he was cremated. So there's 2 videos I want you to watch: the 10 most powerful Hindu gods, 10 most powerful Hindu goddesses, just to kind of give you some information on some more of the gods and goddesses, and maybe have you kind of look at who you want to research. Okay. And then we will have a webinar on Wednesday. It'll be at 9:00. And I'll record it afterwards. And then the assignment is choose your own deity. So basically you're going to go in and you're going to like look at on your textbook and after those videos and stuff like that, and kind of look at like, okay, who do I want to look closer into? And you're going to create this project on that. Okay. So I think it'll be really interesting, and I hope you learn a lot. Okay. And that's it. I did post a new self-evaluation and feedback in the Google Classroom, so please help me help you. Okay, it kind of just gives some feedback on like what you guys need from religion, if you need anything else, if you need less, things like that, and that's really it. And so I think it's labeled week 6, but it's just like a Google form, and it's anonymous, so I won't know who it is and things like that. Okay. So that's it. And I will see you guys Wednesday. And I look forward to reading your karma assignments. Bye, guys.